Yo, 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 ladies and gentlemen, we are back again. Welcome to the Jenkii show. I'm Jenkii.
And I'm Amara.
Unfortunately, Miles has got a busy day tomorrow, so he had to leave. But he will be back. Guys, we had something pretty cool happen. All right? Pretty cool. All right? We had
Casual Chuck.
Shout out streamed us, guys. Okay, bro has like 125k. Like, that was a big moment for us, kind of like a breakthrough, kind of our sound break, if you like. Big up Chuck,
sending love to your channel.
Yeah, and you know, we wanted to say thank you, Casual Chuck, and we thought we'd casually watch one of your videos. We had some recommendations, didn't we, Amara?
We definitely did.
What did they say?
So, shout out, we have Jonila Lopez.
Ooh.
Thank you for featuring our Mahalima.
Hey.
SB19, the Filipino pride. If you really want to know more about the boys, please check Casual Chuck's documentary.
Hey,
also,
well,
Queen G27. You need to watch the SB19 story series by Uncle CC, Casual Chuck.
Hey, come on, Casual.
Another one, please react to this episode's documentaries by Casual Chuck. That is VB and Ave Gonzalo. And many, many more of you, to be honest. So thank you for your recommendation.
Oi, oi.
We're looking forward to this.
So we are going to watch Casual Chuck's SB19 documentary.
Part 1.
We're going to sink in. We're going to settle in. And we're going to hopefully get to know SB19 a whole of a lot better. So without further ado, ladies and gents, let's get in to Casual Chuck's SB19 documentary. Gents.
Part 1.
When you hear the words pop music and the best boy band, who comes to mind? What if I told you that the most overlooked boy group in our generation might be these guys?
Ooh. Come on, SB19.
They look so young.
In the last 6 years, these guys turned a small Korean entertainment company into a company that produced the greatest P-pop group ever.
Are you proud of SB19?
Hey, big time.
And you don't accomplish that without making a few enemies.
Oh.
Lima pala sila. K-pop pangit.
Oh,
Some of them coming from
beef.
unexpected places.
Yun yung iba daw.
Parang may ginaya rin.
But behind the group are 5 driven men who were about to transform what was once a laughingstock genre in music into the fastest growing genre of the world.
Ever since we had this goal, and not just for us, but for the entire industry.
Feeling ko hindi pa natin nakukuha yung recognition na dapat para sa atin.
Between disbanding before they even debuted,
all hope is lost parang nung time na yun.
Becoming industry outcasts and getting bashed by their own countrymen.
Sana magkaroon tayo ng grupo na hindi naman mangkataasan ng tangos ng ilong. Para talagang original.
Oo.
The rise of SB19 may not be the greatest Filipino success story ever.
Maganda kasi yung revenge kasi talaga yung success na ipapakita mo sa mga
Yes, Ken.
But it certainly is the most inspiring one.
Hey. Yes,
Casual
Casual
Chuck,
Chuck.
isn't it? This is sick.
Soundbreak. Remake.
Oh.
Huh.
This is called Triple, a group of talented performers and comedians from Korea you've probably never heard of. They were formed back in 1994 when the word K-pop hasn't even been invented. In 2002, one of the members made the biggest mistake of his life, which will change the entire course of P-pop history. That member was Jong Song Han. It all started when he left the trio in 2002 to become an entrepreneur. Cult Triple became Cult 2. Most of their fans thought that Songhan's decision was a huge mistake because the remaining members started racking up different awards in the entertainment industry. If he only stuck around, he would have gotten those awards too. But this man's decision was final. He used all of his savings to build an event organizing company called SHOUTOUT Entertainment. Today we know him as Tatang Robin. Fast forward to 2015. The fight of the century just happened. One Direction's Drag Me Down was all over the radio, and Big Bang was the biggest K-pop boy group.
Big Bang.
P-pop has top one project. Chances are, you have never heard of them. But somewhere in Makati, Philippines, an audition was held. Tatang Robin was looking for young talents who would be part of the package of their service as an event organizers. Talents who can perform on their own but can also serve as backup dancers and singers to their main performers. One of the main attractions of the SATA audition was if you're good enough, you might just debut as a member of SHOUTOUT's first ever P-pop group to undergo a Korean-style training. Filipinos don't get opportunities like that so often, so hundreds of talents applied, but only 30 made it as trainees. They were initially called the SHOUTOUT Musical Gala Team, but then later dubbed as NARA, which in Korean means country, and also happens to be the national tree of the Philippines. If you're a fan who is deep into the P-pop scene, you would recognize some of the future P-pop stars, but one of the most notable ones is this guy. On the first day of training, one guy stood out because he was just alone standing awkwardly in the corner.
Nung una, ang weird niya po, nagsasalita mag-isa.
He was facing the wall and making hand gestures as if he was rapping in front of it.
Nakatayo siya sa gilid. Doon lang gagano. Sabi ko, anong ginagawa na? Nagre-ritual ba ito sa gilid?
That guy was John Paulo Nasa.
Shout
He
out.
always wanted to be a
Is that
performer.
Pablo?
As a young dreamer, he joined several competitions as a
Yeah.
soloist
He's so
and
cute.
also as a
He looks so
member of the
young.
K-pop dance cover group called PHP. In training, he was the guy who shows up early and leaves late despite juggling a full-time job as a data analyst to help provide for his family. He was selected due to his undeniable diligence and leadership qualities. He is known to have critically acclaimed songwriting ability. Some of my sources even said that he had already written dozens of songs at this time. He's also a badass rapper and was often called a genius but consistently denied it because he claimed to be just a hard worker. This made him the destined leader of the group. He was known as Sejin at the time but later would be known as Pablo.
Sojin was his Korean name, I think.
30 trainees are a lot of trainees. It would take a very observant person with an eye for talent to notice Pablo in that corner. So who was that observant person with an eye for talent? Well, he was also a trainee. Stelvester Ahero.
Still.
He was only a kid when he started competing as a performer. As a
Yes,
dancer,
so.
he racked up win after win on a national level with his school crew and became their official choreographer, teaching crewmates 2 to 3 years older than him. He later joined a dance crew called Seon and went on to win international titles. Stel obviously worked so hard. Amidst his studies and competitions, he also worked part-time as a McDonald's service crew and teaching dance to kids with special needs. There was a point that he worked too hard that he wound up in the hospital. His poor health caused him to lose his earnings and nearly his life. Fortunately, he was able to recover. This made him the obvious choice to become the choreographer of the group. But little did they know that dancing wasn't his only talent. As a kid, he joined the school choir to become the only male soprano and only improved as he gotten older. He easily became the main heavenly voice of the group because his vocals were just
Wow.
Falsetto, baby.
out of this
no.
world.
Jeez.
Unlike Pablo, Stel was very friendly to everyone. In fact, one of his closest friends also auditioned and made it as a trainee. This friend is nothing to be trifled with because having the worst upbringing among the others made him the strongest when it comes down to pure guts and determination. Josh Cullen Santos.
Hey. Josh.
He left home at the age of 16 and it was his decision. From growing up in a toxic environment to being physically abused as a kid by their nanny. I'm talking about getting poured candle wax all over
my
their
God.
body.
Ooh.
At an early age, he experienced what it felt like to be a member of a middle-class family that went rock bottom in just a matter of months. They got evicted from medium-sized apartments to increasingly smaller rooms. It came to a point when his family had nothing to eat with rice but ketchup and salt.
Oh, gosh.
They had no permanent address. Because of that, Josh and his sister dropped out of school multiple times, so they got bullied at school for being repeaters. Sometimes he would even get into fistfights for defending her. Josh had enough of this, so he decided to leave to become independent and started working as an internet cafe attendant. Using his own income, he took the alternative learning system to attain his high school degree. He initially had no background in performing. Not until he found Stel performing with his dance group called Seyon. Josh became an instant fan, and when they connected, Stel became his mentor, which led to them becoming co-members, and they went on to win numerous K-pop dance cover competitions all over Asia. They even met BTS during one of their winning runs in Korea.
Huh.
So from champions to trainees, what else is in store for them? From then on, their lives became all about performing in small events and training.
We had one mentor when we were training. Tapos, more on personality development siya. Tapos, presenting ourselves on stage.
We had no idea that the Korean-style training they went through
It's far, far from what they've been doing sa Korea.
was nothing but a mere marketing strategy.
But yung skill-wise, parang ganun. We were left on our own. They were left alone to fend for themselves, sharing knowledge to improve each other with the hope of making the cut.
Dun, dun, dun.
Some sources told me that Pablo had to record some of their vocal sessions to effectively coach his co-trainees. All of that without salary.
Oh my
This
God.
went on for roughly a couple of years, and I don't know about you guys, but this for me sounded kind of brutal. It's not easy to keep doing the same thing over and over and over again without any form of guidance.
Trust
They
me.
were also kept in the dark about their debut date. So frustration started brewing until it reached the point when it only took one trigger to call it quits. On one seemingly normal training day, all trainees were already in the studio, except for Josh. On the same morning, the train broke down.
Nasira yung MRT during that time. Nasira yung MRT.
Sinuspindi ang operasyon ng MRT dahil sa power outage.
It wasn't really an accident, but this would still worry anyone, especially the trainees, because it's highly unusual for Josh to miss training. Later that morning, Josh arrived. His co-trainees felt relief because Josh turned out to be safe. You would think that their company would react the same way, right? Wrong. They decided to terminate his training.
Late ako, tapos tinanggal ako.
That was the trigger.
Nung tinanggal po ako, nag-quit din yung mga grupo ko. Nag-quit din sila kasi parang naging
Dream
trigger
team.
na point na kung tatanggalin mo si Josh,
Umalis kami sa grupo.
ganun mo lang kadali itapon yung lahat ng efforts and passion tsaka dreams namin.
ShowBT had two choices: to keep all trainees or to keep no trainees. The company chose the latter. Everyone left except for Stel.
Parang si Stel lang yung naiwan po nun talaga sa training room. Tapos talagang down na down lahat.
Si Stel natira kasi doon during that time.
Stel set aside all his frustration and remained focused on his goal, while Pablo was devastated.
All hope is lost parang nung time na yun.
In Josh's case, we can only imagine the pain he must have felt to have been booted out of his dreams. Days passed, everyone still feeling down about that incident. Then Pablo's phone receives a message.
Brother, tumalik ka na, brother.
It was Josh.
Hey.
Out
Come
of
on,
all the
Josh.
trainees, the guy that got sent packing was the same guy who actively convinced everyone to continue chasing their dreams.
Hey.
Perhaps
Josh.
this was the sheer guts and determination from his life experiences in full display.
Hey.
Pablo hurried back to the studio to find Stell alone.
No.
But not for long.
Hey.
Josh came back next and took the initiative to convince the company to have them back.
Pumunta lang po ako doon at syempre kung kinakailangan na makiusap.
So back to training, they went.
Hey.
There was only 3 of them for a while. Then a few other trainees started coming back. So ShowBT put together a talent workshop to get more talents to keep the business going. This was batch 1. This was batch 2.
Target locked.
Justin De Dios. He got scouted right away because he was a very good-looking
Hey.
guy and already was a decent singer and dancer.
Decent.
When he joined, he immediately saw a familiar face in Josh.
You look familiar. As do you.
Apparently, Josh told Justin about the workshop because the two already had a stint performing together in a dance cover group called Zero to Hero. So Justin as well wasn't new in the world of performing. He auditioned to be a part of the televised Pinoy boy band Superstar, but he didn't even make it to the live auditions. Perhaps it was fate. That group is nowhere to be found today. Justin obviously deserved better. He went on to finish his college degree in multimedia arts while training, which earned him a filmmaking skill that would prove very crucial to their success in the future. With Justin on board, this completed their prototype boy group.
Paradox.
It's composed of Justin, Pablo, Stell, Josh, Zeno, Kurt, and JP.
Hey.
They did multiple test runs leading up to their entry to Pinoy K-Pop Star 2017. They performed B-Day by Icon in an epic fashion,
Hey.
but they didn't win. At this point, ShowBT seemed to have hit a roadblock. The group felt like something was missing. I don't exactly know what happened to Zeno, Kurt, and JP. They either quit or ShowBT felt the need to let go of them and get someone who could take this already great group of guys and push them to achieve the
Where's
next level.
Ken?
The extraordinary level. This year's in the making project of ShowBT needed to reach its peak. So they started the online auditions. When Josh heard about it, he was like, I know a guy.
Hey.
Oh my god.
I know a guy.
I know.
The
a
guy he was talking about was a pain in his butt because their groups have clashed multiple times in their early dance competitions and their battles were always neck and neck. That guy's name was Philip John Suson.
There's loads of Johns.
He's so
Hey.
cool.
Was such a
He's
specimen.
so cool.
He was so
Look at
naturally
him,
gifted
proper
that excelling in
gangster.
sports looked like a walk in the park for him. He grew up in the church under the care of his grandparents. He was an artistic kid, so he was active as an editorial cartoonist in school. Nobody taught him how to play musical instruments. He taught himself by just listening to the music, so he ended up becoming a southpaw guitarist, but he later then fixed it as he learned more. He was also a gifted singer as a kid. Every time there was a family gathering, he was always forced to sing karaoke by his relatives. But when he hit puberty, he lost confidence in his voice because he could no longer hit high notes. But his confidence came back after being mentored by Pablo, who taught him how to harness his unique low voice that seemingly sounds like it came from the underworld.
We got a
His voice. Oh my
When it
god.
comes to dance, he didn't know he could do it until he was forced to in order to get good grades during their school intramurals. After discovering dance, he transformed from a guy who didn't know it to someone who can fly.
Yeah, that's what I want to do on
Because of his raw
stage.
talent,
Backflips and
he
that.
ended up teaching dance to the entire school and continued on to join the dance group called Amigo 7,
Hey.
a would-be
You should ask
rival
them
of
to teach
Josh
you.
and Stell's crew, Seyon.
Ooh.
It quickly became a reverse if you can't beat them, then join them kind of deal. So Josh recruited Ken. But there was a
Hey.
problem. He was hundreds of islands away and didn't have the money. What
Ooh.
did Josh do? He shelled out for his plane ticket. With nothing else to lose, Philip went and left his previous life in the countryside. He then trained with the boys and officially debuted with them as Ken,
Hey.
the main dancer, the bass vocalist, and the lead rapper of the group.
Hey.
One thing to note is that they were an unlikely bunch because they wouldn't have met each other if Tatang Robin stayed with his already successful group in Korea. Justin didn't make it in his first audition, so he almost didn't try again until Josh told him to do so. And Ken wouldn't even have the opportunity to join if the SHOUTOUT trainees didn't come back after that quitting incident. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the butterfly effect.
I was gonna
When a
say.
small and seemingly insignificant occurrence has a rippling effect through
Yes.
time, leading to a consequential event sometime long after the initial event. Or as Google would put it, the phenomenon whereby a minute localized change in a complex system can have large effects elsewhere. Tatang Robin's so-called mistake back in 2002 led to forming the future P-pop Kings. In 2018, SB19 was formed. The name of the group was carefully picked. The number 19 is the sum of Korea and the Philippines country code digits, 82 and 63. So 8 plus 2 plus 6 plus 3 is 19. If you subtract both numbers, you also get the same result.
I just assumed
SB
it was like
doesn't only mean
COVID-19.
SHOUTOUT.
What?
It is also
Really?
about their ultimate goal for Pinoy sound to break into the music industry, which is fearlessly represented by this phrase: Soundbreak.
Soundbreak. Yeah. We're gonna break to the top.
Oh wow. Wow.
We got Ken on the top.
Casual Chuck. Come on now.
Oh my god, well.
That was really well made.
Casual Chuck, bro.
That
Love
was
it.
really well made. I want to do clap 2. Wow.
Love that Casual Chuck.
What did you think of that?
But yeah, no, that was crazy story. Crazy story. It kind of makes sense when you think about it, because obviously their songs are all about resilience. So,
Yeah.
and that's why,
Yeah.
because they had to be resilient.
I mean, when you guys were saying watch Casual Chuck, you will understand them more. Like, that is a whole lot of backstory.
It weren't that casual.
Yeah.
It was quite
like,
formal.
It's actually amazing. Like, they proper stuck together, you know, built each other up. And it's all within their own talent, not even with industry. What was the companies they were with? And yeah, the butterfly effect. Come on now. It's the best thing that could have happened. Everything happens for a reason, guys. Be resilient like these lot, because look at them. Damn.
Just don't give up.
Don't
as
give
I
up.
say, yeah.
Like-
It'd be funny, hopefully, if the music pops in a few years, if we get someone doing a little story on us.
Oh my god, imagine.
That'd
Be
be
like,
so
this is how it
jokes.
started.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was meant to take a job in London and I stayed and I did a podcast with Jenkii. Then Jenkii was
Hey.
doing this and then he taught me how to rap. And,
Yeah.
and then 5 years later, boof, we're on stage with SB19.
Yeah, literally, like,
And
supported
I finally get to meet
SB19.
Ken.
Yeah. Hey, Ken.
Oh gosh, no, honestly. Oh, his voice makes you feel a type of way. Like, proper. Oh gosh.
It was just a great origin story, and I like it was the classic like 0 to hero, you know. And I suppose it makes it better. It's always it's nice to know. I mean, it's not nice to know, but it's cooler to know when someone's had a bit of a struggle on the rise rather than just, you know,
Nepo baby.
Nepo baby.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
100%.
And I really like that aspect of it. And also, yeah, I suppose it's interesting because the K-pop were just so dominant for so long, and now it's just good to see that there's other forms of Asian pop that are now starting to take a global stage. I like to think the rivalry is healthy. I don't actually know. Hopefully SB19 don't have massive beef with K-pop groups, but
Nah.
I love the fact they met BTS as well.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
That was really cool.
They just have a lot of like fan connection, and I just feel like what was really cute is how when obviously everything was about to disband, they went back and they kind of like said to the trainees like, no, like we want this, like let us have it back, like and they
Give us
and they
another
all
chance.
kind of came together. And obviously I don't know what happened to the rest of the groups and stuff, but at least they came together and they tried, you know.
Yeah.
I think only SB19 really blew the roof off, but
honestly, Pablo's a real one in it. That guy putting everyone together, helping them all, like Ken with his vocals and that, and Josh as well.
I say, yeah, I'm probably closer related to Pablo, sorry. in terms of I was always the one that was like in the corner of the room staring off at stuff, just thinking
Yeah.
thinking creative. Like I remember one time I was at school, and like this is lower school, but like the teacher was like, "Do you not want to go outside and play with the other kids?" And I was like, "No," and I just stayed inside writing poetry by myself. So yeah, big shout out to Pablo.
My big brother's a bit like that as well. He's always rapping and like this, and my mum's like, there he goes again, just rapping like this, but makes the best of you.
But guys, thank you so much. We've run out of time. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for listening, and thank you, Casual Chuck, for that awesome video. That was so sick. Such a great watch. And yeah, we will catch you in 2 weeks' time on episode 117 of the Jenkii Show. Oh yeah, baby. SB19.